Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are.
It reminds me a little bit of, it's freezing cold here in Australia, so forgive us if we're rugging up like this. It reminds me of Dr. Nick. Hi everybody! From The Simpsons, for any of you who are old enough to remember The
Oh,
Simpsons.
yeah,
So today, Kristie, we were talking, last week we were doing values, and this week we went a layer deeper and we went into our beliefs, which was an interesting conversation.
it
Um,
absolutely was.
It was, and we talk about the personal value stack because obviously, between your beliefs and your behaviors and how you act is everything in between, our values and our attitudes and how we show up in the world. And so we talked about beliefs today because it's kind of at the core of everything we are and everything we do, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was really fascinating revisiting because we have spoken about this in the past, but revisiting it again today and just reinforcing how valuable it is for us to be able to know our beliefs and values, which is the foundations that, like what we discussed today, the foundations of our core being. And then with our behaviors and attitudes can be so swayed depending on what's happening for our core values. And if we're sort of rocked, it can sway us in a negative way. And if we're, being empowered, it can sway us in a positive way. It's really influential.
Yeah, 100%. And
Mm,
many people here may have heard me or somebody else say this before, but when our beliefs and our actions or our behaviors are not in sync, it's almost impossible to be happy because we're kind of in opposition. It's like we're competing with ourselves. And that's not a good place to be at all. And unfortunately, people find themselves in that situation all the time. And we talked about that a fair bit today, too.
yeah, absolutely. And sometimes we can have the same beliefs as someone else. This is one of the interesting facts is that we have the same beliefs as someone else, but if our values are different, then we can show up quite differently. Even
Yeah.
though we sort of believe the same things, someone could be doing something that we're not really aligned with still.
Yeah, yeah, without question there. I guess we sort of said the values is the things that we put in priority of importance, whereas the
Mm,
belief is the thing that we believe to be fact or,
mm,
as true. And you're right, you and I could believe that, air keeps us alive and I might breathe like because of it and you might just breathe calmly and coolly and normally and Robbie's
yeah,
just a weirdo. But you know what I mean? How
yeah,
the value I put on it is that I need this air for me to breathe to stay alive. Whereas you go, no, it's going to happen because it's keeping me alive.
yeah. It's quite interesting. And then the cycle that can happen with that, and talking about the times where we're not feeling so good about ourselves or we're feeling a little bit lost, it is absolutely to do with the fact that our personal value stack is just not in alignment. There's something not right. Our actions aren't matching our words, or what our beliefs are changing, and we're sort of questioning who am I. It can be a really massive part of how we show up in the world, and I find it such an interesting topic once we get down a bit deeper in the layers, because then you're like, oh, we really need that clarity to know who we are to then behave how we want.
Well, it also came to pass that when the way that we behave or things that show up for us on repeat, the patterns, are not in alignment with our beliefs, it's because we probably have some beliefs that need to be shifted in order for those things, to transpire, to manifest into reality, needs to be changed.
Mm,
If we believe one thing and then we do other things, or then other things continuously, fall in our lap, it's because we invite them because of a belief that invites those things to us. But sometimes we're not aware of it, as you were mentioning, is that it's sometimes sitting, in our deep subconscious so that we don't even know that they really exist unless we kind of do the work. And that was
mm,
the other thing is when you see those patterns occurring, there's the indication that there's some work there to be done.
for sure,
Can't just keep
absolutely.
going along, cruising along, expecting things just to change by themselves. It's like, no, there it is.
Yeah,
Start, get the shovel
yeah.
and start digging.
And as one of our members, kindly brought to us, it was you need that open mind to be able to see there could be another way. And what we really enjoyed doing was just unpacking some of those limiting beliefs, unpacking some of the areas of our lives where different beliefs show up,
Yeah.
self, our beliefs for self, our belief for others. So yeah, so
And
powerful.
comparing beliefs last time we covered this to how they are now, or just seeing them come to fruition, those empowering ones actually being
Mm,
true, and 6 months later being true still today as a result of setting that intention back then and having that recognition. But as we
yeah,
said, you cannot change your beliefs with a closed mind.
right.
And so, first things first, be open, be curious. But the other thing was that, in order for our values to change, that comes through our awareness or our education. If you get those two foundational things right, or, if people find themselves being quite closed off or quite rigid, trying to shift into first things first, being open-minded, just be open to the potential of anything else, then you're already starting to get yourself in a position where you can receive or accept new truths, even though right now you may believe something completely different or the opposite.
Mm,
And then learning, be in a constant state of growth, always be growing, finding yourself in a constant state of, learning new things, and again, receiving different ways of doing things. Even if you don't end up adopting them yourself, just being aware that they exist and that's how other people operate puts you in a better position to, to arrive in the world or accept the way that the world is for other people, and how you want to be in it. And so you can prioritize more effectively your own values instead of being limited to just what you thought you used to know.
yeah, absolutely. It's so it's so important to be able to continue that growth going forward, for sure. That open mind, and yeah, willing to listen. I think willing to see that your ways might not be always the right ways, or there could be a better way, or maybe
Because we
yours
always
is.
get it right 100% of the time,
Oh
don't we?
yeah,
Like, never,
yeah.
never get it wrong.
No, no, absolutely get it wrong.
Yeah.
Hand up,
Actually,
absolutely.
that reminds me of something else that came up, is that the scars. It really is the greatest level of wisdom comes through experience. You can read a book once and take some information from it, but read it again 2 years later after having lived some of it, and you'll take so much more out of it. And so the information is valuable to people. I like this point that came up. Information is valuable, but it's through experience that we really truly grow and where wisdom resides. And it's when stuff is a bit hard often that we take the most from it. I don't take too much to it, but like we take too much from it so that we actually can grow, continue to grow from it. And then, like a lot of our clients help others with the same stuff. So it makes it possible to look at those situations, I guess, less, in a lot less dark sense, because it's teaching us something, or there's something to come from it that's going to benefit us longer term than just the difficult situation that we find ourselves in this particular moment. And being able to kind of come at any situation with that perspective,
Yeah,
that level of awareness,
yeah,
is not easy. But the
no.
impact, as we were hearing, is so huge.
Mm,
And it arms people with the ability to draw on more wisdom, create more wisdom, because they're open to going through those experiences rather than staying in them and letting it hurt them and stay hurt in that moment, and carrying it forward with them, and just accepting things for what they are and learning from them as you keep moving forward. Keep moving forward being the key.
yeah, absolutely. And I think what the most beautiful thing for me to witness is to also see the growth, where with our members, where the trust now that they're growing within themselves, and the certainty that they've got the tools and the strategies and the resources. Yes, we have to revisit them from time to time. Yes, the rug can get swept from underneath us from time to time, but those experiences, those darker experiences, become shorter and shorter. And so the trust that's being built now, that they have the ability to face anything that's coming at them, because they've got that trust and certainty that they will get through it. Yes, it's not fun, but they will get through it. And that's just so beautiful. I love seeing the trust being built within each of them, and it's great.
Yeah, it's not like
So
they
important.
expect that they won't get hurt or they won't fail or it's not going to be difficult sometimes. They just, they let that happen and then they don't spend too much time there because they make a new choice. And
Yeah.
they're capable of making that. No, like, okay, that sucks, but all right, let's get back out of here. Let's keep moving. Like, you're right, 100%.
Yeah. And that cycle where you're just forgiving self and moving on and your awareness is increasing. So, oh, yeah, what wasn't quite right? Yep, let's keep going, and makes you unstoppable. And that was so empowering today, wasn't it? There was so much power that came out of realizing that you can actually face anything.
There were some big smiles throughout and particularly at the end there, wasn't there? Yeah, it was awesome.
Yes.
So while we're all here, quick shout out. We are going to do on the 1st of July, I thought we'd call this out, another Dr. Me challenge because it's awesome to see everybody actually doing these things when they need to, when we focus on it, when we're marking it off. But what happens, and it happens to everybody, including Kristie and I, where we lose a little focus and we become less consistent in our approach to these things, but we know how important they are for our ability to live the way that we want to and have the life that we want to, but make the decisions that we want to, be clear about it, have clarity. And so we're going to do a Dr. Me challenge coming up on, I think it's the 1st of July, but we'll put some more details in the group here for everybody so you can play along at home as well. Anything else, Kristie?
No, I think that's all, great today. I'm looking forward to the challenge. I know as it gets colder, there's a lot of people thinking, I'll just stay in bed a little bit longer, or, their exercise habits may have lessened. So there's probably good cause for us to do the Dr. Me challenge as here in Australia. I might not be winter over there where you are, but there's always a good reason to get stuck into the Dr. Me.
Yes, it is really cold down here at the moment. Time for a nice hot cup of joe.
Yeah. Yes, sounds good.
Awesome.
Well,
see you guys.
See you later.